everyone, I'm coming to you from one of my most favorite places. This is my fairy garden in my backyard. This is my cat, Magnolia. Say hi! I'm just going to do this astrology report a little bit different, as I've been having all these computer challenges since, I don't know, Uranus is doing some stuff in my chart. And I'm about to take a pilgrimage to India, so I'm going to be doing something different, and I won't be able to give the next two new moon and full moon reports. So this will be my last one for a little bit, and I'm not exactly sure if I will pick it up or not when I come back. We'll just have to see what kind of a space I'm in and what I'm feeling called to do upon my return. So I am accepting sponsorships for my travels to India, and I will be going to sacred sites and offering prayers and looking for special power objects that I can share with those people who want to give a sponsorship, and to pray for you and your relations. If that sounds interesting to you, please go to my website, taroloma.com. I have all the information about the trip and who I'm staying with, and this organization that I've been studying mantras with for probably the past 5 years or so. So it's a big process to be at this point where I'm ready to go visit and kind of complete some long processes that I started many years ago. So I'm looking forward to being in India for Navaratri and for the celebration of the 9 nights of the goddess, and just seeking some really deep healing for myself, for my family, for some healing of karmic wounds, and for revitalization and energy and a vision for moving forward. So thank you so much for being part of that. All right, so let's look at what the transits are. See if Miss Magnolia will kind of help me. So the sun is at 1741 in Virgo for this full moon. 18 Virgo is a Ouija board, and this degree has to do with using our intuition. Across the way where the moon is at 18 degrees Pisces is a gigantic tent, and this degree has to do with sharing our ideas with others. So you can see the tension of opposites there. One is a very private intuition, and the other is a very public sharing and finding our community. Magnolia. Don't see that. Mercury just went into retrograde for this full moon today, and Mercury is making an opposition to Jupiter. So there could be not just little miscommunication mishaps, but like very big communication mishaps. Like I had a few over email where I'm accidentally responding to the wrong person in the email, sending private messages to the wrong person, sending other messages to people that have other conversations attached to them at the bottom. I don't know what happened with Google, but anyways, that kind of stuff has been happening for me. So just be very careful during Mercury retrograde to take it slower, double check all the communications. So Mercury is also making a trine with Mars, and that's going to really amplify the passion that Mercury is speaking with. And I found, just kind of accidentally, an asteroid that's conjunct Mercury right now, Dynamine. This in Greek means the bringer. And this asteroid, the story in this myth, she is one of the 50 Nereids, or the sea nymphs that travel with Poseidon. She's one of the daughters of Old Man Sea, and her name means she who can, she who is the capable one, and she also has the ability to appear and disappear very rapidly. Her and her sister Faruja are associated with the power and the might of the ocean and the ocean swells. So her asteroid being conjunct Mercury as we're reviewing our communications is going to have this quality of, especially with this Pisces full moon, this quality of the emotions, the intensity of the feelings, the power of our emotions through our voice, and that water element communicating our emotions with other people. So with Mars also giving that warrior aspect behind it of the feminine heart waters, the swelling of the emotions that rise up to purify the heart, to purify the throat, and to bring a clarity on our communications. So all of this too, as we're mourning and facing the loss of the queen, and the imagery of the feminine, a feminine majesty, a royal, and an age, a time period closing with her reign and shifting into a new era, a new time. These Saturn and Uranus transits of the last squaring we're having with them. So the values of freedom, rebellion, independence, creativity versus structure, order, follow all the rules, do everything according to regulations. These two teachers are having their last square off September and October, and that's also finishing a big cycle that started in the 90s, and all of the different issues that we've experienced, from the .coms to 9/11 to regulations on the airwaves, plane regulations, all the changes we've seen in flying, rules around terrorists, rules around privacy. All of these things are kind of coming to this culmination to ask humanity to consider, have we learned our lesson around these things, and are we able to balance the structure, the eternal structures and the eternal law with the freedom of the human spirit and the indomitable liberation of the human soul. So I find that to be extra powerful here on this time where collectively that there's a loss of a queen. And Carl Jung says sometimes when things happen in the external world, they stimulate and trigger an awakening in the inner world, and point to the spiritual aspect of the inner queen of hearts, the inner queen of earth, and ruling of resources. So a time with this Pisces full moon, lots of dreamy, mystical opportunities to realign our hearts with the inner divine feminine and the inner mother, the inner queen. And in the ancient understandings of the divine mother, she has 10,000 faces. So getting to know one or more of her many faces and how she may appear to us individually, that is really an essential part of my trip to India and my own searching to heal that relationship with the divine mother in me, to see her face more clearly, that I might know my own face and be a mother in a way that is most aligned with my own soul nature and calling. This full moon is also conjunct Neptune, which is amplifying the Poseidon energies and this feminine aspect of expressing our emotions and the power of the sea. The moon is also right next to Juno, who is the goddess of marriage. So considering and reviewing our relationships and whether or not they're balanced, and finding again the sacred marriage is first within us and then within others. Mars is also still squaring the sun and the moon. So adding that extra warrior energy, that tension. I think for the past 3 moon cycles, Mars has been making squares with the sun and the moon. So Mars is in Gemini right now, and I sense that Mars is asking us to have courage and to be brave, to truly seek out what is balanced, to question what we might find unjust, and to have the bravery to express ourselves. And Mars is going to be in Gemini for a very long time, and until March of this spring. And I realized that Mars is in a fall here, so you might find people acting a little more out of character, out of balance, as we're working to realign what is in balance. When Mars goes out of Gemini and into Cancer in March of 2023, that's about the same time that Pluto is going to be entering into Aquarius. So I think Mars is really clearing the way for whatever's going to happen when Pluto goes into Aquarius. It'll be energies around this type of thinking isn't serving our highest good anymore. These fixed ideas, we have to find a new vision or a new way to look at it, a new way to balance our communications and the air element, the fixed air element. So what Mars is doing right now is kind of preparing us and having us kind of jump around and maybe try this on or step this way and then step back and find again that balance for the bigger shift of Pluto going into Aquarius next spring. So the main shape in this chart for the full moon is a grand earth trine that is making a kite all the way to the moon and to Neptune. So it could be extra dreamy, extra mysterious, and extra filled with illusions. And Pisces likes to break up things that are too heavy. So it could also be breaking up the heavy depression, the heavy emotions, and really offering a clearing to what's been too heavy in our lives, and offering a clean slate. As we head into fall, it's like we're coming into the Earth's big exhale and releasing. And we also releasing not just this year, but these major cycles with the Queen's reign and with the Saturn-Uranus transit. So an opportunity for us to really have our heart waters washed clean, to heal from the emotional wounds of the past, to let the heavy emotions start to break up and dissipate into a lighter, more enticing and inspirational mystery that's going to carry us into the season of winter and into a new inspirational light. So, what else do I have? We do have Uranus and the midheaven at the north node for this transit of the full moon, and Uranus is just continuing to send out lots of electrical genius information. There's been solar storms like crazy. There's been lots of electric energy hitting the earth and bringing intense ideas and waves of change on earth. Kali is close by. She's making almost an exact trine with Pluto, so digging up those earth mysteries regarding feminine and restoring the feminine in a deeper aspect of seeing her fierce face as well as her kind face, being connected to the same essence of the goddess. Kali being an emanation of the Divine Mother, who is like the concentrated energies of all the prayers of all of the saints combined, directed at a particular problem. So this is all helping us as humanity to hit our destiny. Okay, and we'll do a reading from the cards today and see some advice today from the cats. I have my cat deck here in honor of Magnolia, who's decided to join me for this reading today. So asking divine guidance for images, inspirations, symbols of what we can be inspired by on this full moon. What's the particular situation? What is a challenge, a block, and what is the solution? So 1, 2, and 3. So the situation is, 5 of sky. And so we have 5 kitties there. 5s are challenging. 5s are connected to evil in a way because they are on the journey of wholeness, but not at 10 yet. So often we can run into trouble with the energies of 5s. This has a bunch of alley cats picking on another cat who's very sad. So, dealing with the energies of haves and have-nots, unconscious power issues where we're externalizing some internal struggle and making somebody else a victim in order to cover up some deep insecurities in ourselves. So really calling to look at the inner nature of things and looking at things that are out of balance and some meanness and bullying that can happen when we're being driven by the unconscious. The challenge to the situation, maybe why this is happening. Oh, interesting. The 3 of fire. So this could symbolize like the budding of consciousness and the light of awareness that's growing within, and the call to balance the fire, as triangles are some of the strongest shapes in building structures. So a dawning of the light. And it could be all the solar energy hitting the earth too. Sometimes can lead to more violence when there's more sun cycles. As a challenge, how do we integrate and embody that fire and alchemize it? Solution to the challenge and the blocks. Interesting. The Sky Queen. She's in the field, the queen of the air. Who is she? What does she represent? The Queen of Heaven. This is connected to the energy of Inanna, who is also known as the Queen of Heaven. Mary was known as the Queen of Heaven. So tapping into that cool, wise, feminine queen of the air energies and her ability to rule with poise and logic. She rules her heart from her head, and grace and dignity, royalty, all of these qualities which can be a solution to managing all of the light coming to earth right now, all that solar power and Mars energy that might be really charging up our aggression. Tap into our inner Sky Queen. Thank you so much for joining me for this astrology forecast. I wish you a blessed full moon. Thank you so much. I think.